Well, hey Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For today's video, it's actually going to be a reaction video of a review I did of an RX-78-02 Origin high grade. In fact, I've even made some updates to it since then, so I kind of want to show what I did before and what updates I did now and maybe explain what I did if you're interested in doing stuff like that. But before we get started, like always, if you haven't, please subscribe. It helps me out. Check the links in the description for ways you can support the channel if you're into that, or join our Discord, which is really cool. And also, as you're watching this video and you think it's pretty cool, give it a like. That helps also. But yeah, let's get started. Oh my god, who is that? Oh my god. I don't know if I'm scared, embarrassed, ashamed, proud. Alright, here we go. A nice, good, oversaturated shot where you can barely see anything because the white balance is through the roof. Good job, Adam. And then there's the cat here in the back there. Oh my god, things have not changed. All right, here's one of the shots I did, which I gotta admit, I like the lighting on this. I don't usually do this type of lighting where I'm really relying on like the ring lighting effect where I'm trying to more of light the silhouette of the object, I guess I'm trying to say. But I used the gray panel line. I went back with darker. We'll see in a little bit here. I even put decals on the rest of it. We'll see in a second. I even put some gold and silver in some cool places. We'll see in a second. Look at that. I even had a little tutorial on how I was applying the panel lighting. This is using the Tamiya accent pour ink thing. It has a name to it, I'm sorry. Also, I've noticed where on the V-fin, I hadn't clipped the extra plastic, the safety plastic, but I have since. All right, here's another shot of it. Just looks like a pretty neat straight build with the basic panel lining and the some of the decals applied. On a little comparison, those are always fun. In fact, what I just did with what you're about to see actually with my RX-78-02 Origin, the updates I made, I'm going to try to go back and do that with others. And look at that, I have the giant HG Origin version, which could use the same treatment once I get the hands fixed. Okay, now that's a cool shot I did. You can kind of, really get a good, I'm going to have to do a side-by-side comparison. You can kind of get a good look of what I did, which looks great, actually. This looks great. All right, and there we have it. The RX-78-02 Origin version, kind of re-Gundammed here. Just quick comparison, I'll put a shot up along with it, is just noticing there's a lot more details. And all that has to do with is darkening some of the panel lines, making sure it is even. Also, I finished adding the rest of the decals. I didn't do that initially. But I had a fun time doing it this time. And to look at some further details of things I added to this to make it unique is, for instance, on the gun here, adding the chrome on the barrel, super simple. In fact, I probably could have done a little bit more here. And then also with the shield, I gotta say again, having that flat top coat really makes a difference. It really makes the colors pop. Something else I did that also I think really makes this look nice is how I added the chrome to the little circle divots that they have in these shields. And I panel lined, but I don't know. This is what I did from before, so I don't know if I panel lined first and cleaned it and then did the silver on top, which I probably did. But again, that top coat is really what seals the deal here. I also added the chrome to the two Gatling guns, which are actually optional. So with this Origin, there's like this early type, middle type, something like that, where you can have different chest pieces, but also different attachments on the top there. I like the dual Gatling guns. That's just sick, in my opinion. Also, the shoulder armor. I think there's a variation it comes with where it doesn't have the part sticking up there. I've kind of left that in. I kind of like that. But other little areas I modified is I also like shoulder cannons. I think those are badass. Even though I do like the dual katana thing the RX-78-02 has going for it, I just like the idea of having a gun cannon. So, a gun cannon. Yeah, just like the gun cannon. So, I added some chrome on that as well. I didn't put it everywhere, and maybe I could have put it in more places. I don't know, just a random little divot there. But it looks good. It kind of breaks it up, gives it some detail, but without being too much. All right, some additional things I did was adding the gold in the elbow joints here. Something I got from the real grade RX-78-02, and something I see like in the models specifically like the Missing Link side stories on PlayStation 3. I like how in the joints they have like a little bit of the gold inlay there. Actually, I did a little bit of that with that GM, added the little gold there. And I think that really helps make it pop. In fact, the thing that really makes this pop, I think the main thing I did here, the upgrade that really makes this look different, is the flat top coat. Tamiya TS13. I've already used it now on the Hazel Master Grade, the GM that we just looked at, and then now this one, and I think it turns out good. It makes the colors pop more. I feel like the red and the blue has more of a pop to it. Just looks really good with that. And the top coat is what I did dead last after doing everything else. After I put the decals, panel lining, I even did some more decals, more panel lining after about a year of time. And then I went back and did the top coat. Also, little cool spots there, not that easy to see. Another little optional thing is to have these little guns on both sides on his wrists, but I put the chrome there too. It just helps it pop. And, okay, some areas around, and I think this is a good example of that. So this area, this little rectangle within this, I panel lined, and it was thicker, and then I was thinking of painting the inside too, but there was just enough to make it a light gray. And in fact, that same thing happened on the other side, and I love that look. I feel it just looks great, so I'm leaving it there. You know, I'm just noticing an area I didn't clean up that well. Oh my God. But like another example are these little squares here. There's specific areas, and it's not everywhere, where I might see these little squares. And on a recent mobile suit, what I did was I let the ink encompass the whole thing. I feel like that adds some neat contrast that doesn't have that gradient look of a panel line when it's up against the plastic, but a little bit of it, you know, if you don't clean it up just right, and sometimes it's hard to do. And I think a good example actually is down here at the feet. You can see where that panel line itself is almost a gradient because it kind of stops, but doesn't fully stop on the bottom. So this is an example of I would just have the panel lining across the top and the sides, and I could try to clean it to make it look even. I could have done a little more, perhaps. But in areas that don't require something like that, I will just fill it in completely. A couple other little quick things back here. I love the chrome on here. It looks excellent. Even the thrusters, putting the chrome on there, I think really adds a nice touch. You know what? I could have even gone as far as doing the gold back here. Just from the front, you don't see that too much. And in fact, and it might be hard to see, I forget if it was included, but there's gold right behind here. I forget if that was included or I actually painted that gold before putting this on. You know, just looking at the head here, you know, you always want that head to look right. Again, I went back and did some darker panel lining to kind of really make the details come out a little bit. Even there's something about the design of the RX-78-02 and under the eyes, that red part right before you get to the white mouthpiece. I just like the way that looks, and a lot of times there are panel lines in there. I went in there to add the panel lines, but you know what? It's not too noticeable, but it is noticeable. It adds just enough detail, shading, contrast with the surrounding red to make it stick out. And that even meant me going to the these little what are they? Vents on the side of the face. Some RX-78-02s and some model kits, they're perfectly square and it's easy to fill in. These weren't exactly, and so this was a little harder to do. But I clipped the little safety things off the V-fin, so the V-fin looks sick there. And then lastly with decals, while decals weren't really an issue throughout the whole thing, there were a few areas like here on the shoulder where I could have maybe cut some of it a little shorter. Because even like on the head here, some of it actually is sticking off the sides. And I could use a razor blade and kind of cut at that if I wanted to kind of clean it up. And I might do it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. In fact, here's something I just realized. The little Federation yellow crest. Like, I hate it when it stickers. This one's a sticker, but it seems to look good. I didn't bother panel lining around that, because it may have not really needed it there. I think the yellow and the red really work together well. But also, I don't know how much I would ruin it if I did that. So, all right, and there you have it. little look at the extra details I added to the RX-78-02, the Origin High Grade. I feel like this kit is already detailed and cool enough that just adding those little bits of detail just puts it over the top. Anyone could do this. But also it was fun to kind of review myself in a video about a year ago when I did the Gunpla in the first place, noticing how much more I can do now, not in terms of just building, but also my videos. Seeing me without the facial hair and the short hair was a little weird, but I've moved on. So anyway, let me know what you think. Any questions about how I did the little upgrading to the RX-78-02 with the gold, the chrome? I think that top coat always makes a difference, so let me know if you have questions about that. But anyway, until next time.